You're watching TVC Breakfast. It's time to look at the headlines across Nigerian newspapers this morning. I have with me to make sense of the headlines this morning, CEO, CKN News, Chris Kehinde Nwandu. Chris, good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you.
Thank God it's Friday.
Great. Thank God it's Friday. It's really amazing. I'm telling you. Thank you.
Yeah.
And we also have joining us via Zoom, Chartered Accountant and Public Affairs Analyst, Okunade. Okunade, good morning.
Good morning, Mike, and thank God it's Friday. Baraka de Salah 2 in a row.
Exactly. We're still in the festive period. I understand some rams are still, hanging around here and there.
The only challenge is that my ram ran away, so I can't send anyone.
We need to search for that ram. All right, thank you very much. Let's begin with the Leadership newspaper. Leadership says, declare bandits, killer herdsmen terrorists. Northern groups tell PMB, that's President Muhammadu Buhari, declare bandits, killer herdsmen terrorists. Northern groups tell PMB. We have no relationship with killer herdsmen. Mieti Allah is saying this. Gunmen kill 4 policemen, Monarch 13 others in Benue, Enugu, Nasarawa states. Kidnappers of maritime workers demand 90 million naira ransom. All troubling and disturbing headlines there. All right, that's the Leadership newspaper. Daily Times is next and is focusing on insecurity. Tough time ahead for bandits, terrorists as 6 A-29 Super Tucano aircraft arrive, Nigeria. Tough time ahead for bandits, terrorists as 6 A-29 Super Tucano aircraft arrive, Nigeria. Okay. 6 have arrived. We're still expecting 6 more, which will come maybe the tail end of the year or early next year from the reports that we're getting. Okay, from there, let's go to Daily Trust. Cholera kills 325, afflicts 14,300 in 6 months. Cholera kills 325, afflicts 14,000 in 6 months. Death toll rises as outbreak spreads to more states, and Action Aid calls for state of emergency in Bauchi. And how we're responding to outbreak, the NCDC is saying this. It's really a trying time, I must say. All right, from there, let's go to the Punch newspaper. Punch newspaper says COVID-19 testing stops in 13 states. Delta variant hitting on vaccinated Nigerians. Testing fell by 29% in 3 months. Federal government cries out as dangerous strain spreads fast. And Nigeria receives 3.9 million Oxford AstraZeneca doses next week. States list testing obstacles and put Nigerians on red alert. Delta strain can spread in communities before detection. Tomori is saying this. All right. If we have time, we'll certainly be talking about this dimension of things. All right, let's go there to the Nigeria Tribune. It says Igboho remanded in Cotonou prison faces immigration offence trial today. Wife released on bail. Federal government yet to file extradition charge. And why federal government's extradition request is invalid, can't be granted. Falano is issuing insight into this. Okay. That is one thing we may also have to look at as we get along. Vanguard newspaper says extradition battle, Sunday Igboho back in cell as Beninoa court adjourns. Supporters assemble at Beninoa court. Igboho's wife released. Why federal government can't arm twist Benin Republic to extradite Igboho? Akinteriwa is saying this, the former DG of NIA. Yoruba leaders in talks with Benin Republic. YC is saying this. Why Igboho can't be extradited without due process. Falano and others are giving insight into all this. All right, from there, let's go to the Guardian newspaper. Anxiety as Cotonou court adjourns till today, returns Igboho to cell. Outcome will favor us, says Igboho's aide. Federal government presenting 3-point complaints against Igboho, and Igboho wife looked pale in court. Eyewitness is saying this. Okay. From there, let's go to Daily Sun. Security stalls Igboho's court appearance in Cotonou. Extradition hearing holds today as agents grill pro-Yoruba nation agitator wife. All right. Buhari's failure cause of his agitation. Afenifere is saying this. All right. That's from there. Let's go to the Nation newspaper. The Nation is still focusing on the Igboho issue. Igboho appears in court for immigration-related offences. Agitator expected back in Cotonou court. A wife's German passport has been released. Okay, that's the Nation newspaper. Blueprint says Okechukwu to Senator Hanga, Buhari has no 2023 deal with Tinubu backs APC's consensus. That's the Blueprint newspaper. First News, on the other hand, says MPA looting, Metis can't be a sacred cow, PDP protests. That's what the First News is saying. First News. The First News says is focusing on MPA looting. It says Metis can't be a sacred cow, PDP protesting. Protest there. That's the First News. From there, let's go to News Direct. News Direct is it's not the last yet, but News Direct says Buhari terminates Bala Usman's appointment as MPA boss. PDP calls for Bala Amechi probe. Okay, all that on the front page of the News Direct. National Economy is next. National Economy says no end in sight for subsidies removal. A report is saying this as instability, inflation, unemployment permeate Nigeria's economic landscape. Really troubling, I must say. National Economy. Business Day is the last one we're looking at now, and it says Nigeria's inflation threatens already low savings rate. Nigeria's inflation threatens already low savings rate. That's the Business Day. All right, gentlemen, let's start from Sunday Igboho before we get into the other stories I'd like us to look at, the COVID-19 Delta variant and the issues of testing, as the case may be. Now, I just held a discussion with a UK solicitor who was giving us insight into the Sunday Igboho issues and implications here and there. Now, there was something he said that at the end of the day, that we might see Sunday Igboho back in the country. But his lawyers are saying that they want to do everything possible that he's not extradited to Nigeria. What do you make of this, CKN?
Yes, first and foremost, we need to establish that Sunday Igboho is being tried in Benin Republic, not because of his agitation in Nigeria, but because it was alleged that he acquired this passport of Benin Republic
when he's
not a citizen of Benin Republic. So that is going to be the issue. So it is now within the jurisdiction of the Benin Republic government to a court to establish whether the acquisition of that passport was legal, illegal, necessary or necessary, and all those involved. It might not just be only him, because at the long run, there must be some people that must have aided him in getting the passport. So you might be seeing them also coming to trial. At the end of it all, it now depends on how the court is going to rule. If they think that they'll find him guilty, then Sunday Igboho might have to spend some days, months or weeks in Benin prison. If that is the case, then the issue of extradition or no extradition might not just come into play. But if Nigeria has an extradition treaty with Benin Republic, as it has with several countries of the world, don't forget that Nigeria has extradition treaty with some countries. That is one. Secondly, also, Nigeria also have this prisoner swap agreement with certain countries. I don't know whether Benin is part of it, because I know that I think UK and some countries, if that is the case, and the Nigerian government now decide to ask the Benin government based on that to extradite Igboho, then it might just be another kettle of fish entirely.
Yeah, exactly. So, because Sunday Igboho is not a prisoner.
That's what I'm saying.
As far as this is concerned.
In fact, Sunday Igboho has not been, unlike Nnamdi Kanu, that has been taken to court. Sunday Igboho, there is no case per se. Sunday Igboho has not been charged to court by the federal government. The nearest I knew of it is that he was invited by the police some time ago to come for certain discussion and rest of them. He didn't do that. So his case, on people say, oh, it's going to be like Nnamdi Kanu. Sunday Igboho's case is a bit different.
Okay.
That of Nnamdi Kanu was that he was charged to court, he was on trial. For whatever reason, he has to leave the country because his house was invaded. And that brought some level of some K-leg, as the President Obasanjo used to say, K-leg into the case before he has now.
He was released on bail and he jumped bail.
So that was it. So this one is a different ballgame.
Okay, we'll take a look at it as we get along. I'm going to bring Sheson in after we go on a break. So Sheson, just stay with me. Let's go on a break. We'll be right back on the program. Stay with us. You're watching TVC Breakfast. We're looking at the headlines on Nigerian newspapers today, and we have to make sense of all of this. Chris Kehinde Nwandu is here, one of our regulars. We also have Sheson Okunade joining us on Zoom to add or lend a voice to this. Now, Sheson, let me come to you. We're discussing Sunday Igboho earlier on. Now, there is a lot when it comes to the relationship between Nigeria and Benin Republic. And some people say that as much as Benin Republic is an independent, sovereign country with its own respect and all of that, the enormous influence that Nigeria has over Benin Republic when it comes to things like this and what is of interest to Nigeria, that Nigeria will always have its way at the end of the day. What do you make of that?
Yeah, thank you very much, Mike. That would definitely be correct, in the sense that the economic dependence, even though the country is a sovereign nation on its own, they rely so much on Nigeria, and it's just like a big brother and younger brother issue, that the younger brother is dependent on the elder brother. Whatever instruction he gives, he definitely might want to consider it, considering the economic dependent on such. So this that has started, you can see that even the government is dragging our feet on the path of the extradition of Sunday Igboho, waiting for the final conclusion of the final judgment that will be held today. So if he is culpable and is sent into prison, you might discover that even if there is no the understanding between Nigeria, this prison exchange, as mentioned by lawyer CK and baby lawyer, they can initiate that within the shortest possible time and expect the maximum cooperation from them, because economic empowerment is very key when nations are talking to one another, and Benin Republic will not want to suffer loss because of an individual, but tend to yield to whatever the government may be asking. So I think Nigeria might ride on that economic empowerment, of which Benin Republic is a great beneficiary from, to make, let me just say, make available the necessary things that is expected of them as regards Sunday Igboho. But I may say this, if an agitator tends to plan some of these things, I think we should not just start and just ease out the pressure. He should have planned this strategically in such a way that he will have his way completely, not coming to get stuck by the way, because the offenses get increased day by day, and you may not know. You may start with one and end up with so many that on the long run, you will just be held liable for some of the things that you are being accused of. But let's wait and see the outcome of the judgment of today, and then that will give a different direction on the next action by the federal government. Okay.
Now, CKN, let me ask you this before we leave the Sunday Igboho issue. Now, without necessarily preempting what the court is going to come up with when it comes to Sunday Igboho's case in court, if we create a scenario where Sunday Igboho is being tried for forging or having access to, and all of that, in the eyes of the law, forgery and all of those are criminal cases. No. If he is found guilty at the end of the day, we're just trying to create a scenario. How more complex would it be? Because there has to be some level of punishment meted out to him if he has been found to have violated the rules or the laws in Benin Republic. How more complex would it be considering the Nigerian factor on him?
As I said, every country has its own law on both criminal and civil cases. Forging is a criminal case all over the world. If no matter wherever you, for anybody to forge your any document at all, talk less of a passport, that is a serious criminal offense, because there are instances where those passports could be used for all sorts of activities. It could be used for terrorism. It could be used for so many other things. So many countries take it seriously. So there is a tendency that the full weight of the law will come on Sunday, but irrespective of what the court is not going to consider whether Igboho has a problem with Nigeria or not. That definitely is out of the window. Yeah. It is not within the jurisdiction of the court in Benin to do that. What they'll be more concerned about is the criminal offense that has to do with with obtaining a passport of. It's just like anybody coming to Nigeria, a Ghanaian coming to Nigeria and just getting a Nigerian passport. When you're not a citizen, there are clear court rules as to how you can get Nigerian passport. Either you're a citizen by birth or registration or naturalization address. So that is well spread at all for whatever reason. But people take it a bit further. I also want. There's something that just came to my mind, and I'll just say that. The recent appointment of some ambassadors to neighboring countries in Nigeria. Mike, I don't know whether you've thought about that. How many times you call me? So,
a lot of people said it was really strategic.
Very strategic. I want to say it's a strategic. When you are the president decide to appoint former service chiefs, one in Chad, one in Benin, for Chad, Cameroon. You think that the president, they will say this president is sleeping. He's not actually sleeping. He knows what he's doing. This man knows what he's doing. And I think that has come to play. Because if you know the security network that some of these service chiefs have over countries within the West African region, and even there you can know that at any given point in time, they can be able to pinpoint certain security lapses here and there and capitalize on it. And that might be what is happening.
As it affects Nigeria. Recall too that Ambassador. It's really nice to call him Ambassador Tukun Burate. It's really amazing. He's Nigerian ambassador to Benin Republic, and he has been on top of this issue from the get-go. All right, we have to put a pause again, and let's go on a break. We'll be right back to discuss the COVID-19 and other issues. Stay with us. We're looking at the headlines across Nigeria. You're watching TVC Breakfast. We've been looking at the headlines across Nigerian newspapers. I have with me Okunade as well as Chris Kehinde Nwandu. Now, let's talk about briefly the COVID-19 testing and the issues of Delta variant that is hitting states and people across the country. Talk to us basically. What more can we do? Because when they're saying the Delta variant is more virulent, is more dangerous, is more deadly than the regular COVID-19 virus that we know. What more can we do as a people, really?
Yeah, thank you very much, Mike. I think what I'll first suggest is that every individual should take responsibility for their safety, whether we have the protocols out there set by the federal government or not. You should protect your life and make sure you stick by some of the rules that have been suggested by the government: social distancing, nose mask covering, washing of hands, and some other things. Whatever rules that they are given, you don't need anybody to enforce you to get this done. But the basic thing is, how much do you value your life? So you must adhere to it to make sure that we don't have the wider spread of it, whether the vaccination is coming on or not, although we're expecting some next week. But I will suggest that every human being should take responsibility. Don't await anyone to tell you to use your nose mask or create social distancing when you are in the public gathering. Do all that is needful, because if anything happens, you will be made to pay pay for the consequence. No government will be there to tell you to feel sorry when you are feeling the pain. So I would just encourage everyone, whether it's Delta variant, whether it's the old one, to make sure that they adhere with the safety protocol, not to be enforced by anybody, but take security or take the precaution much more important as an individual.
All right. Now, CKN, some people are now recommending the issue of enforcement, because when you talk about social distancing in all of those protocols, not so many people are adhering to it, but with the Delta variant, is a different ballgame altogether, the way things are going. And people are talking about the third wave so far, and they're talking about enforcement right now.
On a lighter mood, Mike, this third variant or Delta variant is from South Africa. I don't know why they will name it after Delta. That, for me. So,
so you think it's not Delta State?
I'm just asking. You know the way former President of Donald Trump say that it's Chinese.
But he was criticized for that. Because we call it South African variant.
Yes, it looks like profiling. So, but on a more serious note, from one of the papers we can realize that this headline was that about 30 states have already shut down completely. Yeah. So meaning that they don't even believe that it's COVID, but that is a wrong signal. If you look at what is happening in Japan now, the Olympics starts today, and a lot of things are already coming out. There are going to be only 100 people at the stadium at the opening ceremony today. A stadium built for close to about 80,000 people. That is to show you the repercussion of that. So, but here we take it so lightly and nobly. People are dying already, from what I read in Nigeria. I read somewhere about 2 or 3 people died or whatever a few days ago, and the rest of them. As Sheson rightly said, it is within Nigerians to take this seriously, but the problem for me is that the last time the Lagos State governor spoke about compliance and vaccination, he said just about 1% of Lagosians will have been vaccinated. Is it due to the fact that we don't have enough vaccines, or is it because people have vehemently refused to go and get themselves vaccinated? Yeah. I've taken my second jab. And that for me, but even that is not enough security. I still have to go through those protocol of using the mask, distancing, and the rest of it. So what we are saying is that government itself seems to have tried enough and seems to have given up on the zeal. Who is going to enforce? Is it the policeman? Is the policeman using a mask? Is it the soldiers? We have enough insecurity on our hands that they are battling with. Yeah. If you understand what I'm trying to say. So bringing the issue of COVID to the table is a different ballgame. Nigeria is focusing on getting to Kanos and how to delete most of these bandits. So the list of the problem of Nigeria now seriously is not good. But individually, people should know that their life is in their hands, and they must do everything humanly possible to make sure that UNILAG has closed. University of Lagos have closed shop, and students have been sent home because of COVID. And I believe it's the same thing all around. So let us take this seriously. But I still believe that the alignment program should now intensify from what it used to be.
All right. Thank you very much, Chris Kehinde Nwandu, for your time on the program.
Thank you very much for having me. Have a nice weekend.
And then you too. And Okunade, thank you very much for coming on the program as well.
Mike, have a wonderful weekend.
And you too. Thank you.